gunner. So doing another video on a gun that I did a written article on. It was actually one of the first guns I reviewed, I believe, writing an article. So what I've got out here for us today is the Kimber Ultra Carry 2. It is chambered in 45 ACP. It is a 1911 ultra compact 3-inch barrel. So with 1911s, you know, you have the government model, which is 5-inch barrel, and then you've got the commander size, which is 4-inch barrel, and then the officer models, which are the 3-inch barrels. Now I know there's Series 70s, Series 80s, and I'm not really that much of a 1911 guru, but this is definitely the ultra compact, and it's a pretty lightweight gun. You know, a lot of 1911s have a steel frame. This one is actually alloy with a steel slide, of course, and then you have these nice rosewood grips, which we'll get into a little bit more when we get on close. So these guns are very nice to look at. They're very, I think they're very well put together. You know, they feel great in the hand. Kimbers kind of catch a bad rap on 1911 forums, and there seems to be either people that really like them, people in the middle that are like, yeah, okay, they're good guns, and then there's people that are like, ah, don't buy a Kimber. And then whether that's because they heard about somebody that had bad luck with them or they had bad luck with them themselves, I don't know. So what I do know is my time with this gun, which is, I've had it for about, say I got it in August of 2017. So over a year and a half. It's been great. I've put probably 1,100, 1,200 rounds through it, including the 500 rounds at the beginning as a break-in, which we'll touch on more later, and why I think that's a pro and a con. But, you know, people that aren't familiar with them, 1911s are the single action trigger. So, you know, the hammer back here, if it's down, you got nothing, and it's single action. So most common way people carry these is cocked and locked. You have a safety right there, manual thumb safety. They're good guns, very much interwoven with American history, particularly at the turn of the 20th century, with World War I, World War II. They were the military sidearm for a long time, from the time they were adopted in 1911. I want to say maybe 1912. My exact dates are a little off, but from the early 1900s all the way up until 1985, when they were replaced by the Beretta M9. Now obviously it wasn't an officer model like this, it was the full-size 1911s. So what we're going to do is we're going to shoot it a little bit. I haven't shot it in a while, and it is a 3-inch barrel, so going ahead and making excuses for myself if my accuracy's off a bit. Got a steel target down there. It's about 17 yards away, so it's a little bit. You know, a gun like this would be designed as a defensive firearm. You know, which you could end up needing it at that range. Hopefully not, but so we'll shoot at that. The steel target I have is a 10-inch circle, so you know, it's not tiny, but it's not like a full torso steel target. So without further ado, we'll shoot a little bit. Alright, so I'm not going to be doing any speed drills or anything. I'm just going to do some slow fire to hopefully demonstrate some accuracy. So yeah, without further ado, I've only got 2 mags out with me, and these are 7-round magazines, so I'll probably load some and talk a little bit. I'm going to put more than 2 mags through it. So here we go. Alright, well, for starters, I can tell you, I was just filming another video before this one, my Glock vs. 1911 video, and I was shooting the Scorpion a little bit. I was actually shooting the Scorpion, the Sig Sauer Emperor Scorpion Fastback, and I actually shot it a little bit before I even did the Glock vs 1911 video. So going from that to this Kimber really really kind of drives home the difference in recoil from, you know, and that the Scorpion's a commander size, so it's got the 4-inch barrel. Really drives home the difference in recoil between the steel frame commander size and the alloy, or I keep saying alloy, it's actually aluminum frame on the Kimber. And actually I've still got it out here, so we'll just do a quick size comparison. There's the Scorpion, and there's the Kimber. So this one is definitely heavier. It's steel instead of aluminum frame, but recoil on this, it's stout, guys. It's you know, 45 ACP is a relatively slow moving cartridge, but it's a heavy cartridge, and when it's coming out of something this light, it's noticeable. All right, we'll shoot a couple more mags. So, I was saying before, you know, this Ultra Carry would be designed as a concealed carry firearm. You know, I have a Don Hume inside the waistband leather holster. Picked it up at the same time I was picking up the gun. I haven't carried it a whole lot, but I can tell you that you would probably want a little bit different holster. What we're talking about, this is what I'm talking about. It's a leather, it's got a clip, so it works, but I can tell you that I would probably want a different holster if this was going to be my dedicated carry firearm. Probably something with some leather on the inside that came up a little bit higher to get between the gun and your body a little bit better. So yeah, defensive firearm. You're not gonna I'll speak for myself. I would not win any competitive shooting matches with the gun. Your mileage may vary. So let's shoot a little bit more. Let's put 2 more mags through it, and then we'll dive down close, give you guys a close-up on it, and talk about some more things you might want to watch out for if you're going to get one. Alright, I missed a couple there. Let's dive down close. Alright, here she is, guys. It's the Kimber. She's clear. Twist around there. Kimber on this side, and then the other side it says the Ultra Carry 2. It's got the serial number in Yonkers, New York, USA. Not sure where Yonkers is. I'm a Georgia boy, so I have managed to make it this far in my life without ever visiting New York. I really would like to go one day. So, one day. Real quick, while I've got it at this angle, you can kind of see here, there's some brass imprinting here where it comes out. I have been able to clean that off of there before, but it takes a lot of scrubbing and a lot of frustration. I guess that's what's going to happen if you shoot the gun, though. So if that really bothers you, then there you go. You can see I have carried it some and used it some. You've got some scuffs here on the aluminum from my wedding band on my left hand. I'm one of those weird people that does practice shooting with both hands, particularly if it's a gun I'm vetting as a concealed carry option for me. There's just so many variables that can happen that would require you to use your offhand So that's a topic for another video, but I do that. So you guys can see it's not a safe queen. I have had it out, I have shot it. I've done a lot of dry fire practice with it. There's some holster wear here and up on the sights. So it's a used gun. It's a gun that I feel comfortable talking about. I've put, like I said, over 1,100, 1,200 rounds through it. Now this one is not a traditional 1911 in the sense that there is no bushing on the end of the barrel, and it has a full-length guide rod. I don't know if you can see it there. So I don't really have a preference when it comes to those things. As long as the gun works fine and holds up fine, I'm happy. But if you're a purist who wants that more traditional 1911, this would not be the gun for you. And I don't, honestly guys, I don't know if they make an officer model with the traditional barrel bushings and all that. If they do, please don't jump all over me. I'm really not a 1911 expert by any means. Inside's pretty dirty. I just shot, 6 mags through it, so 42 rounds. It does seem to get dirty pretty quick. I'm not sure if that's a function of the short barrel. The ammo I'm shooting is just some, I think Remington, Federal, my bad, Federal brass case stuff. So nothing super dirty, no Tula or anything like that. I told you guys I had a couple things that I would tell you to watch out for. See how the butt of the pistol here is real square? Now this checkering here gives you really good purchase, but for my hands, which are, I'd say, on the large side, it's kind of sharp the way it digs in there. Now, I have had surgery on this arm, and you can see the scar extending down into my palm there, so that doesn't help. But it's not pleasant to shoot. You know, I have 42 rounds. I'm getting close to where I'd say, okay, you know, I'm done. Call me a wuss if you want, but it's not a particularly fun gun for me to shoot because of that. The recoil itself, that doesn't bother me. It's just kind of how it's transferred to your hand, at least for me. So if you're a guy with large hands, maybe rent one first and see how you like it. As far as craftsmanship with the gun, it's a Kimber, and I had always heard Kimber made a really, really well-made firearm. And I feel like it is a very well-made firearm. Like I said, I know there's 3 categories of people: the love them crowd, they're okay, and the never buy one ever crowd. So I guess it would depend on who you talk to. I don't have any fanboy syndrome for Kimber, but I feel like this one is very well put together. It had very tight tolerance from the factory, and it's not loose now by any means. But they do advocate a break-in period. It's about 500 rounds, which I did, and the gun did need it. I had several issues, even with ball ammo in the beginning, and as I got closer and closer to that 500 round mark, those issues all dropped off. For people that are trying to figure out what I'm talking about, the tolerances are so tight when these are put together at the factory. Now I'm just telling you what Kimber says, so if you disagree with me, I haven't measured the tolerances. I'm just telling you what I was told. Tolerances are so tight between particularly the frame and the slide that they need a break-in period to kind of loosen up a little bit and run more reliably. So how true that is, I don't know. I do know that it ran smoother after the 500 round break-in period. The 500 rounds of 45 is not, it's not super expensive, comparatively speaking to other things, but it's not cheap either. 500 rounds of 45 is definitely something that, it may influence the decision for you. On the one hand, it's kind of an aggravation to have to do that. On the other hand, it's 500 rounds you get to spend with your new gun. So I guess it depends on how you look at it. Sights on it from the factory are these white 3-dot sights. They work fine for what I was just doing, target shooting, things like that. I would argue, I'm not one of these that says you need X, Y, or Z sight. As long as you shoot well with them and they're durable, you know, you get no argument from me. I do tend to like tritium sights on a dedicated carry gun, so if this was my carry gun, I would absolutely be changing the sights out for my own personal preference, but I've had no issues with it, you know, during range sessions and things like that. So the rosewood grips, they look very nice. They've got some checkering here, but this smooth part, you know, it leaves something to be desired for me. There is no checkering on this front strap, which I think it would have really benefited from. Again, my opinion on that. The safety is on the left side of the gun only, so lefties, I don't think this would work out well for you unless you've got another method you use of activating that safety lever, but it is very easy for me to activate. The slide release slide lock lever, I have a hard time getting to without altering my firing grip. So, you know, if you want to use your offhand to do it, that's fine, or you could always just come over the top of the gun. The magazines that it comes with, well, magazine it comes with is one flush fitting 7-round. It says Kimber on the bottom. Nothing fancy. Good mag though, it worked well. But naturally I picked up some more Kimber mags. These are the Kim Pro Tac Mag 7-rounders. And I actually like this base plate. I actually have them on all the Kim Pro Tac Mags that I bought. It's just gives you a little extra purchase for driving that magazine home, and it doesn't really stick out that much more at the bottom for carry purposes or whatever. So it's something to think about. I know a lot of people that don't buy Kimber firearms do buy their magazines. So there we go. We'll go back up top. Alright guys, so I hope you enjoyed this little video on the Kimber Ultra Carry 2. Thing I was going to bring up on price. As far as Kimbers go, this is one of their more affordable models, so if you're kind of like I was when I bought it, it was like, oh, I've always wanted a Kimber. Well, this is a great way for you to kind of test drive their line or their brand and see, you know, if it's something you might want to stick with and get something else. Also, if you're in the market for a 1911 and you don't want to buy a, you know, a Ed Brown or a, I can't even name them all, the custom Wilson Combats and stuff like that, you know, Kimber seems to be a pretty reliable way to kind of get your foot in the 1911 market, and it's honestly, I would love to sit here and tell you it's a premier 1911 brand, but the more research I've done on 1911s is it's upper middle class. You know, they're made here in the U.S. They're absolutely beautiful guns to look at, in my opinion, but without getting into the multi-$1,000 range. So I think the MSRP on this is about $800. I did not pay that for this one. I think I paid closer to $700 when I got it, which I felt at the time was you know, a hell of a bargain. And I still enjoy the gun. I have no plans to get rid of it. It's just not a carry gun, and it's not particularly enjoyable to shoot after a little bit. And I may try it with gloves on and see if that helps. I may, obviously somebody's going to come in the comments and I may do what you suggest and man up. I don't know. So good gun, guys. A good option if you're a 1911 person, you're looking for a concealed carry gun. This may be the way for you to go. You do get 7+1, so you have 8 rounds of 45 ACP on board. Obviously out of a 3-inch barrel, your velocity is probably going to suffer a little bit, unless it's some loading that's designed specifically for the short barrel. But at the end of the day, you know, if this is what you want, I think I have no lack of belief that this would absolutely do the job if you needed it to. So I know we've been kind of 1911 centered at the Hungry Handgunner here for the last little bit, but don't worry guys, I only have 2, so we're done for a little bit on that. Hope everybody's doing well. Have a good new year, and see you again soon. Take care. And one other thing, follow our Facebook page, and also on our YouTube page. If you're watching the videos and you're enjoying them, please click subscribe for me. I'm trying to get to that 1,000 subscriber threshold. I got a long way to go. I think I've got like 38 as of right now. So if you do like what I'm doing, please share the heck out of the videos. I'm trying to get out there a little bit more and get my name out there. And for those of you that always click like and share and comment and everything, I appreciate it a lot, guys. Alrighty, take care. Stay safe.